Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, up, talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.
Pull up a seat. You're now in Corey's Corner, where right conversations matter. I'm your host, Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Today's guest is a proud native of Jamaica, Queens, whose life and work span Wall Street, education, media, and powerful community advocacy. Lisa Ray spent nearly 30 years working in finance while also building a legacy in entertainment, radio, and youth mentorship. But her most impactful work may be the mission she turned personal. As the founder of Andrew's Heart for Hope Foundation, Lisa is raising awareness about multiple sclerosis and empowering those living with MS to live boldly and with purpose. In recognition of MS Awareness Month, we're honored to welcome an advocate, creative voice, and inspiration. Lisa Ray, welcome to Corey's Corner.
Thank you for having me.
Been waiting to get you here, sis.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Oh, this is good.
Before the foundation, before the advocacy, there was the hustle. From Jamaica, Queens, Lisa Ray was outside promoting shows, creating moments, and making her mark in entertainment. A woman of culture, creativity, and vision, moving through rooms and building her voice. And when life changed, she didn't stop, she transformed. A 10-year survivor of multiple sclerosis, Lisa turned her journey into purpose. Today, she stands as a leader, an advocate, and a force for others. This Women's History Month and Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, we honor her journey. This is strength, this is evolution, this is Lisa Ray.
This episode of Corey's Corner is sponsored by Andrew's Hearts for Hope Foundation, founded by Lisa Ray, a mother and multiple sclerosis survivor. The organization is dedicated to empowering people living with MS through support, advocacy, and resources. Andrew's Heart for Hope is working to break the silence and chronic illness and inspire resilience in our communities. To learn more or to support the mission, visit Andrew's Heart for Hope Foundation, because no one should have to fight MS alone. Okay.
Amen.
Let's get it. Lisa, before we get into everything you've built, let's start here. What was it like growing up in Jamaica, Queens back in the day? And what kind of kid were you?
Okay, so back in the day, I'm the youngest of four. And so I was spoiled, and everybody kind of chased me around and got on my nerves because I wanted to be my own person. But my mom was a nurse. My dad was a cop. He was a police officer. Mm-hmm. And he also was a World War II veteran. And so he spoiled his girls. You know, he definitely spoiled us. I was very smart. In fact, my brother said to one of his friends when I was about 5 years old, Lisa's the smartest one in the house. So, you know, I was very active. I played basketball. I ran track. I did all of the things. You know, I was a tomboy. I was a tomboy up until high school. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, I want to be a cheerleader. So, you know, I was into stuff, and I was smart. I was really smart, into school, really into school, teacher's pet, all of that, all the time.
Okay. Now, just for clarity, a lot of people don't know, like me and you go way, way back. You've been like very good friends with my cousins since like 12 years old. So you've been in my family my whole life. What are some of the memories from those early years that really shaped you into who you became today?
Well, I would say the music. Growing up, my father played all of the Motown stuff, of course. My mother was Puerto Rican, so there was some Latin stuff going on, and we had the parties. It was always, you know, a lot of music, a lot of all of that going on. And a lot of food. I guess culturally, between my father being from the South, from Georgia, and my grandfather was actually Jamaican. So my last name is Ray, but it's really W-R-A-Y.
Oh,
so
okay.
somewhere along the line, we lost the W, because back in the day, whatever they heard, they wrote, right?
Right.
So my mom, Puerto Rican from El Barrio. And so I grew up on rice and beans and collard greens. And so between the food and the music, those are the things that really brought me joy, made me happy. And of course, you know, you had to, school was school, you know. I was pretty popular growing up. As a little girl, I was a little chubby. Had long hair down my back. They would always pull my hair and, you know, try to feel my butt or whatever, you know, the little boys. And I would always fight them and beat them up.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what it was.
That's funny. You actually, the producer, my next question was talking about your African-American heritage and your Puerto Rican heritage, but you kind of just went through it. Okay. So people see you today as an advocate, educator, and founder. But if we asked people who knew you growing up, how would they describe Lisa Ray back then?
Well, let me just say this. The other day I was talking to somebody, and Cookie actually gave me a T-shirt, maybe in my 20s, my early 20s. And it said, if you don't like my attitude, dial 1-800-EAT. And so I was very kind of straight to the point, you know, don't come for me. You know, I mean, I think when people approached me, they knew they had to come to me correct, or else it's no telling.
It hasn't changed, though.
I was really, you think so? I'm really quick with it. You know, I'm really quick with it. Growing up, I aspired to be a lawyer because I had pre-law in high school, and my teacher at the time, he was like, you really need to pursue this. You really need to pursue, you're really good. Because we would do mock trials, and I would just shut people down, and they had no comeback.
Right. So
I was, you know, really quick with my response. Like I said, I was smart, I was sharp, and ambitious, always ambitious, you know. And I think being popular, you would get people to kind of, we had fun. I always knew where the party was. We always got it free. We didn't spend no money, so we was around all the celebs and all of that. So I was like,
you was using a pretty face and a smile, huh?
I don't know if that's what it was. I knew everybody.
Yes.
And we would be, you know, just in cahoots. And, you know, once the weekend came, you know, and the weekend really started Thursday, and it would end up, I don't think I ever went home, honestly. By the time I mean, every day was a different day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think Monday was the only day I didn't go out, and then Tuesday was ladies' night. So you know, we was hitting the streets. Yeah.
So people don't know. You spent nearly 30 years working on Wall Street.
Absolutely. Yes.
What originally pulled you into that world, and what lessons did that experience teach you about discipline and resilience?
Okay, so how I got into Wall Street, so when I got out of high school in 1982, I remember I knew the head of security, and I said, I'm gonna need a job for the summer, because, you know, I need to make some money. And so my friend, actually, she had gotten me a job with her, Drina. And her father got us jobs in the city on 57th Street, but it was a chock full of nuts. So I used to always say we would get there and have to put on a clown suit and serve burgers and coffee or whatever. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I can, I don't know. So after 2 weeks, the head of security came to my house, looked up the records with his girlfriend, who was the supervisor of paying and receiving at a Dutch bank. And they offered me a job. And I was starting the next day. It was right around the corner from Chock full of nuts on 56th Street. So I started there, and I'm 18 at the time. And on my lunch break, I walked around the corner, picked up my last check, and I was in finance ever since. So that's how it started. And then over the years, working at Chase paid for me to go to St. John's, where I got my first degree. Look, when you graduate with your master's, I got my associates, but they paid for everything. Never came out of my pocket, never. And I finished with a 3.91.
Nice. I had a 4.0, sorry.
Okay, but that's all right. Remember, I'm an associate's, right? Look at me now. I mean, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So I did that. And then I said, let me see what this associate's is going to do. Let me see if it's going to give me some more money or whatever.
Right.
So I did that, and it did. I got like, I think, 29% more. And then I was in management, and then I had my stockbroker's license, and I was just rolling. Like, everything was wonderful. I think at that time I had Bryce, he was little.
Right.
And every time I got paid, I put money in his account, money in my account. I was good. I was really, really good. It was
so okay. I'm glad you said it, because a lot of people stay comfortable in positions like that or careers, but you eventually pivoted. What was there a moment when you realized your purpose was bigger than the financial world? Hold on, before you answer that, I can remember, I don't know if you remember this. I remember I was in Brooklyn one day. Mm-hmm. I was on Flatbush, and I saw you. We saw each other on Flatbush Avenue, and you was, I guess you was working over there in Brooklyn. You worked downtown Brooklyn?
Metro Tech for 9 years.
Yeah, you was down there, and you was like, hey, Booby, what's up? You know, we was talking, and you was just like frustrated. Like, you didn't want to do this no more. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Really?
That's a long time ago. So let me ask you the question again. Was there a moment that you realized your purpose was bigger than the financial world?
I think always I was doing something else. Because, you know, I promoted.
Yeah, we're going to get into all of that.
For many years.
Right.
Okay. So I always did something else. I was singing. I was going to be the next Diana Ross. I mean, that was the go-to back then. That was the person you aspired to be. So I was singing. I recorded with Teddy Riley, and when he was a little boy, young man, he was young. He was a little boy. He was like a little brother. Yeah, me, Tracy, and Maria. We had a couple of records out, and we was on the radio. And I was like, we gonna make it. This is getting ready to happen. And for that reason, I turned down Corrections because I was like, I'm gonna be on tour.
Right.
Right, it didn't happen. We went triple wicker, whatever. So
that's nice.
But it was a good experience,
right.
And from that experience alone, I realized that it was a very male dominated business, and every time I went to the studio, I felt like people were addressing me with their eyes, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing. That's not gonna happen. So I lost the love for it. I lost the drive, and I started looking for something more, and that's when I found Jesus Christ, because I was like, something's not right, something's missing, and so that was the beginning of the transition in my life.
Okay.
Really starting to live on purpose then.
Right. So how did those years in corporate America prepare you for leadership in the nonprofit and education space?
Well, you know, being a Black woman in a male-dominated business, because, you know, the majority of my bosses were men.
Right.
But I loved them because they were very no-nonsense, straight to the point, which is very much how I am. And maybe that's why we clicked. And they would empower me to take on huge projects. And I would always rise to the occasion. So I was making a name for myself in the business, which was great. And, you know, you always want to, I mean, for me, I wanted to be great when whatever I did. If I was emptying the garbage, I wanted to be the best person that did it. So whatever position I had, I was going to do it in excellence. And it just so happens that opportunities were, you know, sometimes there was positions that came available, and I would say, do you plan on hiring somebody? Are you going inside the company or outside? Right. And they said, do you have anyone in mind? I said, yes, me. I know this, and that's how I got the job. Right. So sometimes if you know, you have not because you ask not. Right. So if I never spoke up, they wouldn't have given me the position.
Right.
I wouldn't have gotten it, and that's what I did. I wasn't afraid to voice my opinion. I wasn't afraid to ask, and I always lined myself up with leaders. So if it wasn't, it would be like the deputy general manager, and I would go in there and have meetings with them and pick their brain. So I always had mentors, great mentors, and most of the time they were men.
People don't know this about you. You kind of touched a little bit. You promoted comedy shows, hosted radio, produced showcases. How did that journey begin?
Well, when I was performing, when we did the record with Teddy Riley, we were working with some other groups as well, and so I was asked to be in a video. And so they wanted to shoot part of the video at my house.
So you one of the first video vixens?
Yeah, right. That's hilarious. So yeah, probably. So we did it at my father's house, at my house I grew up in, and they wanted my father to play my father, and that was easy, right?
Yeah.
So it was like I'm talking to the guy, and he's like my boyfriend, and so my father snatches me. It was like one take, and they thought that was the funniest thing because he was like, get out of there. Right. It was like one take. So the guys that were doing the video, that were producing the video, as the video was going on, I said, can I make a suggestion? And they was like, sure. I was like, why don't you do so. They was like, sure. So they did it, one take, boom, done. Going on and on and on. I said, can I make another suggestion? And they were like, sure. And every suggestion that I made, they took and it worked. And so they had a radio program at WNWK back in the days in the 80s. And they asked me to come on to work with them. And so that's why I, had a little bit of radio back then. So it started back then.
What was the energy of radio back then compared to today's digital era?
Well, I mean, everything was those reels. They had those reels.
Yeah, y'all had the reels.
And there was calling, like it was like a regular rotary type phone. It's really old school, with the push button type thing. So it wasn't there was no board.
Right.
And honestly, that studio was so tiny. It was really small. The space was really small. I'll never forget that. And it might have just been their area or whatever, but it was very, very small. And, we had to get sponsorships like everybody else. So I would go to wherever I was doing stuff. Because, I did some things years later, and I remember going to Tony Cooper, rest in peace. And he sponsored one of the things that I was doing. So,
Well, you bring that up. So let's touch on that. This is off count. I'd be remiss if I don't bring up the fact that you was one of the biggest comedy promoters. You and our sister Diane, we didn't forget you.
Diane Gibbs.
Diane Gibbs. Y'all had the comedy show at the infamous or the famous Manhattan Proper 219 in Linden Boulevard 217 01 Linden Boulevard.
Yes.
And some of the biggest comics right now, the biggest comics, the multi-millionaire comics, y'all had them all.
Yeah.
And I was there to see them all.
Yes.
As young comics breaking in.
Yes. It was.
You might as well name a few for the people so they know.
It was wonderful, and
every Tuesday or Thursday.
It was every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, the comedy show at Manhattan. Standing room only.
Yep.
Standing room only. You couldn't even get in the place.
No, you couldn't. You'd be at the door like this.
You had to know Lisa Diane just to get in.
And it was funny because Diane is, very very sweet, right? But Diane, now I probably rubbed off on her over the years, and she became more me, and I became more her. But back then, people would come to the door and they'd be like, "It's Diane." I said, "She's here." Yeah, she's here. Can I help you? Want to see? Okay, it was just $10.
Right.
I was like, we have people coming here. I said, "You're not going to pay our bills at the end of the night," so and people would come to the door, and I go, "Hi, how are you?" And so when they saw me at the door, they used to be like, "Here." They used to just get their money ready, like, we ain't even gonna go because she ain't going for it. But when we did bigger events, we gave people tickets. When we did other events outside of Manhattan proper, but on Tuesday, no, it was spilling out into the streets. So we we had people to pay at the end of the day. And
who were some of the comics that came through?
Mike Epps, and he was later. Mike Epps. We had Bill Bellamy. We had the late Monteria Ivy, where he did HBO Snaps.
Yes.
We had Cheryl Underwood. We had Hope Flood. We had Tracy Morgan. I met Tracy in Manhattan, and I was actually with Ace at the time. And we pulled up to Talent's birthday, I think it was. And Talent was one of our main hosts.
My man,
and that's a good friend. We still keep in touch. He just sent me some new footage 2 days ago. So we went to Talent's birthday party somewhere at some hotel in the city or something, and Tracy Morgan was out there with this guy that I knew from back in the day from the Fever, from Disco Fever. And he was like, "This is my man, you got to give him a shot." I said, "Sure." I said, "Come on down Tuesday, we'll put you on stage, no problem." And, you see what Tracy has done over the years.
Right.
J.B. Smooth, one of my favorite comedians. I love J.B. Smooth, and it was because his energy. He's very physical with his comedy, and he has such a wonderful personality.
Yes.
Terry Hodges, Terry Hodges used to open up for people like the OJs and Patti LaBelle and all of that, and that was big back then.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so many. I can't even.
Y'all had so many.
Leslie Jones.
Yes, Leslie Jones. Drew Frazier,
of course.
Everyone. Y'all had them all.
They've all come through, and we've had some great nights.
Yes.
And,
I love it.
And for the most part, everything was always pretty peaceful.
Yeah.
I must say.
Until
Yeah.
some of the riffraff. But it's all good. It wouldn't be a good show.
Couple of incidents, but very minimal.
So you're a songwriter, poet, and storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that creative spirit come from?
Because I was going to be the next Diana Ross, so
So you love Diana Ross, huh?
And that was the go-to back then.
Exactly.
So
she
if
was
we
the
went,
Beyonce
right. So now this is the funny thing. I always thought that I was overweight, fat. Right. I don't know if that's a girl thing or a growing up thing or what, but I looked at a picture of mine when I was 31, and I had on this red dress, like the Roger Rabbit red dress. And I was like, I was not fat. And had I known who I was, I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. Had I known who I was, I really didn't know.
Every woman thinks they fat, but no guys. All the guys, we all walk around with big bellies, and we like, yo, I look good. Good.
Yeah. So
Lisa, we're at a part of the show called the Spitfire segment. Well, I'm going to ask you 10 rapid-fire questions. You answer yes, no, or give an answer, okay? Or maybe both. We'll see. You ready? It's fun.
Okay, right.
It's a fun part
I'm scared.
Okay, you ready? 3 words that describe Lisa Ray.
No nonsense. Loving. Generous.
1 lesson growing up in Jamaica, Queens that still guides your life today.
Do the right thing.
A song that describes your life journey.
Oh, God. What's the song? There's a song I have on the website. He loves my flaws. Like God loves my flaws. So no matter what I'm dealing with, God loves my flaws. He made me this way. And my flaws are beautiful. 1
thing people misunderstand about living with multiple sclerosis.
It's very unpredictable. So you may have days where, you're moving, you're flying, you're moving, you're doing all of the things. But then there's days that I may be walking around my apartment holding on the walls and doorknobs just to remain upright.
Right.
I have this monologue that I put in my 1-hour play that I wrote, Life is Poetic, and it's called Frustrated. And if you listen to Frustrated, it talks about what people don't see. And so anybody that has MS will understand it, and anyone that doesn't have MS will get insight to what a person with MS goes through. Right. It's tossing and turning. It's pain, a lot of pain at times. But then at times it's nothing. You're good. I could do all things.
A person who inspired you to keep going during your toughest moments.
My son.
Okay, Bryce. Shout out Bryce. Your favorite creative outlet? Poetry, music, or storytelling?
That's tough. I love poetry, and the reason I say poetry is because you could reflect on something that you a vision, something that you want, you wish. You can visualize something and bring it to life that maybe it's something that I wouldn't say normally, Lisa wouldn't say, but I don't have to be concerned about how I'm going to be looked upon because whatever I'm speaking about, someone else can relate to it if I'm making sense.
What's your answer? Poetry?
Poetry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
A place where you find peace when life gets overwhelming.
A place? Like traveling or just...
Wherever in your heart, however you want to answer.
Probably just when I'm by myself, at home, reflecting. But if I have to say a place to go, just to be away, I like traveling and going to the Caribbean and just being on the beach or by the pool and where it's quiet.
1 piece of advice you give young people trying to find their purpose.
Be yourself. Listen to your parents. Listen to your parents because the things that our parents instill in us, they know what they're talking about because they've been here before. And
some of them don't know that.
So listen to your parents. Your parents are your best cheerleaders. They have your best interests at heart. And, trust God. God will never leave you or forsake you. but your parents are your go-to. You start with them, and don't be afraid to dream. The possibilities are endless, and it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. You could be young and powerful, you can be old and powerful. It doesn't matter.
Faith, resilience, or community? What has carried you the most through your journey?
Faith.
Finish this sentence. Last one. My mission in life is
to serve others and to empower others and to believe in themselves.
Okay. Thank you for participating in the Spitfire round. Did good. That wasn't hard, right?
I don't know. It seemed a little tough now.
Before we move forward, let me take you somewhere for a second. Everything we talk about on this show is about power, accountability, loyalty, redemption. It's not just a conversation for me. I've lived it, I've earned it, I've survived it. I've seen both sides of the system. I walked the street, I've worn the badge. I've carried the weight of decisions that change people's lives. That's why I wrote Once a Cop, Street the Law, Two Worlds, One Man. It's not just a book. It's the raw, unfiltered truth about the journey from the corners of Queens to the highest levels of the NYPD, the New York City Police Department. It's the politics, the pressures, the purpose, the course. And a documentary called A Cops and Robbers Story, which pretty much pulls the curtain back even further. No headlines, no sound bites, just a human story behind the uniform. Because behind every badge, there's a man. Behind every rank, there's a story. And behind every story, there's a choice. For those of you who have not had a chance to read the book or watch the documentary, please, if you do, email us at oncoryscorner@gmail.com and let me know your thoughts. Now a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Corey's Corner is sponsored by Angels Hearts for Hope Foundation, a nonprofit founded by Lisa Ray, empowering individuals living with multiple sclerosis through support, advocacy, and community. Their mission is simple: break the silence around MS and inspire people to live boldly. Now get ready for this October. It's more than a party, it's a movement. The Angels Hearts for Hope Sneaker Ball, where suits, gowns, and your flyest sneakers come together for an incredible cause. Music, energy, community, and impact, all in one room. Don't just show up, show out for a purpose. Stay locked in. This is one you don't want to miss.
After decades in finance and entertainment, you transitioned into education. What inspired that shift toward working with high school and college students?
Well, when going to Bethel Gospel Tabernacle, which is my home church, it's now called Foundation Church, I taught 3 to 11-year-olds choir. So with that, it gave me a chance to really be creative. And I also taught camp. So I would teach safety measures through dramatic role play. So not being taught per se, just being creative, coming up with my own ideas to do those things. I have he's a young son. He's not so young anymore because he's going to be, I don't want to say his age, but he's a grown man. But I always enjoyed taking him to different events. He served in leadership at the church. At 15, he was the associate director of a group called God's Praise Posse. I was always supporting the young people there because I had a child from when he was little.
Right.
So I was always involved, and I enjoyed doing it. And then, the kids used to be, Sister Lisa, so it's just a nice feeling when you know that you're reaching these young people. And some of them would come to you and share some serious stuff. So, you really have to be accountable for your response to young people. When I was pursuing my BS in organizational management at Nyack College, for a short spell, I was working at a assisted living facility as the assistant executive director. And during that time, I started reaching out to people at Nyack, and there was a position available. So I had to interview with all of these people. And, when you go into education, it's like the dean, the provost, I went through all of these interviews, and I was like, well, do I have the job or not?
Right.
I went through so many rounds. And anyway, so in 2014, 1915, I started working at Nyack College in Rockland County, but I was in the field, and I headed up I was graduate admissions counselor, recruiting for the Masters of Science in Organizational Leadership and also the MBA programs. That allowed me to still be creative as well,
Right.
but also help lead people in changing their career, making sure that they were getting into the right program in college.
Right.
So, my son helped navigate that, because I was always involved with him.
Right.
But then getting into Nyack, you had all kinds of people, all kinds of students, different ages, some parents like me,
Right.
and some young people. So it was that.
Yeah, I was a professor at 2 different colleges,
Right.
Medgar Evers and Monroe College. So now it's been over 15 years you've been working closely with the kids, and probably longer. What do you think today's generation needs most that society isn't always giving them?
I mean, I guess on the short end, or just to come out with it, hope. The way that the world is now, young people have to have 2 and 3 jobs in order to rent
But that's
and
because
housing.
we live in New York.
Exactly. But back in my day,
Uh-huh.
I was making enough money.
Yeah.
I was fine. And I'm still managing now
It's
with
different.
with my circumstance. But these young people who have these degrees and these qualifications,
They're not even making no
they
money.
no, they're not. So they have to have several different income streams, which we all do now,
Yeah.
really, at this point.
Yeah.
And they need to be entrepreneurs. They need to have vision, and they need to not be afraid to follow, to pursue that vision and realize that vision. So that's tough for them. It's tough for them.
It
So
really is.
today, it's tough. It's tough. So we have to keep encouraging them and pushing them. And so I've made it my business to be a person that they can come to, because I'm here to support them.
Right.
At this point, I'm here to whatever they need. I'm going to give them whatever knowledge I have,
Right.
and I'm here for you, because they're the future.
Yes.
They're the now.
It's really tough in big cities like New York, LA, Chicago, generationally. Like, kids can't even live. They grow up, let's say Jamaica, Queens, houses are like probably like $600,000-$700,000. But the kids can't even come back and live in the community because they priced out.
They can't afford it.
It's priced out. Everything is priced out.
No.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's get into some more serious stuff, what I really wanted to talk about. One of the most powerful parts of your story is your journey living with MS. All right. When you first received that diagnosis, what went through your mind? Now, I know it took a while, so tell us the story.
Well, maybe I was in my early 40s. No, early 30s. I was in church one Sunday, and I was having some achiness in my thighs. And I said, well, I just rubbed it, didn't think nothing of it, kept on going. Then maybe in my 40s, I started having some balance issues and a little bit of slurred speech. I would notice it, no one else would really notice it. So I started trying to figure out what was going on. I had all kinds of tests done. And I went to one doctor, and he said, close your eyes, count to 50, and march in place. I was like, all right, close my eyes, march to 50, and count to 50 and march in place. And when I started here, when I opened my eyes, I was way over there. And I was like, you tricked me. So I'm being silly or whatever. But something was going on then.
Right.
And so he gave me some exercises to do, whatever. And, you do what you can do. But I was busy. I was working on Wall Street. I was busy, fast paced. Boom, boom, boom. Always busy. Always doing this. Always doing this. When, being pulled in 10 different directions, raising my son. There's a lot going on. And then I started going to these doctors. I said, I sprained my ankle, ended up with a dropped foot. You ever see people walking, dragging their foot
Right.
like that? Either they had a stroke or they have multiple sclerosis. And I know that now after so many years. So it took them 8 years to diagnose me, so much so that I went to see a foot doctor. He said the dropped foot was coming from my back. So he sent me to a spine specialist. The spine specialist said, you have to have this surgery or you're going to be crippled. I was like, whatever. So I left, went to do karaoke at Manhattan Proper one Sunday, and when the time I got home, my back felt like it was going to crack in half. Next day, I ended up in the hospital. 5 days later, surgery. They removed some disc, and I still have the drop foot, but I was misdiagnosed. I shouldn't have had that surgery. What was going on was multiple sclerosis.
Right.
So I just started trying to pursue it, and I have a file this thick of all of the doctors, the neurologists that I've seen, 5 different neurologists. Oh my God, taking EMGs and those that test MRIs, so many things. And finally, this year, February 14th, I want to say it was, made 10 years that I was diagnosed.
Right.
And I started treatment on March 23rd, 2016, the day after my birthday. And so, it was I should have never had that surgery, but what am I going to do? I have screws and rods in my back. I can't cry with spilled milk. And so at that point, I was like, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm fighting to live. I always say I'm fighting to live. I can't give up on myself.
I remember you calling me because you know that I had 2 back surgeries.
Yep.
So that's one thing we have in common. We both have screws in our back. But thank God that technology is a lot better than it was many, many years ago.
Correct.
But I'm really sad to hear that I already knew that you was misdiagnosed and they did that invasive surgery. So instead of letting MS define you, you turned that challenge into purpose. These are your words, actually.
Pain into purpose.
Right. How did MS reshape your perspective on life, faith, and resilience?
Well, I want to say this.
Because you are an MS warrior, for sure.
Thank you. I want to say this. Growing up, I was always a helper. If I see the old lady trying to get across the street or the old man, I go over there and help them. I'm a little kid helping, always helping somebody. I saw people in my family with disabilities, and I was always helping them. And my grandmother I was always helping. But as I got older and I would see, people maybe our age suffering with a disability in a wheelchair or whatever, you would always wonder what happened to them. But maybe they make eye contact, maybe they don't. And sometimes it was an awkward feeling.
Right.
And for me too, sometimes maybe they'd make eye contact and maybe I'd get a half a smile, maybe not. Or maybe they look uptight. And once I was diagnosed with MS, I started looking at people like, it doesn't matter. I can kneel down, lean down, and talk to anybody, hug somebody in a wheelchair, have a full-blown conversation. I went to a rally in Albany for people with disabilities. And I remember they were taking a picture on this $1 million staircase. You've probably been there. And I remember there was someone in a scooter and a bunch of kids stood in front of him. I said, excuse me, if you're able-bodied, can you stand on the steps up here? And I had nothing to do with anything. I'm just there like everybody else. But this guy was there first. And you can get on the steps and stand behind there and take the picture. Let these people, let him be seen.
Right.
Because he was here. And so I'm constantly speaking up for people now because I know that sometimes people will see me. People that know me, right? So it's okay. But when you're in education, in corporate America, wherever, people don't know you and they see me walking with a cane. Right. I'm telling you, people judge you. You could tell.
I know. I know. Trust me. I had the walker. I was in a wheelchair, walker, had the cane. So I understand.
So you understood that world for that time because people will judge you.
Of course.
And I'm like, no. Ain't nothing changed but my limp. So I can run circles around a lot of people.
Yes.
And so I am determined to fight and be the voice for others who are afraid to speak up because they're afraid to lose benefits or maybe they're alone. Some people are bitter. Some people are uptight. Some people feel like they've been forgotten about.
Right.
And so I'm good. So you can give me all of that.
Right.
Because I'm going to break through that.
Right.
Because I'm living with this.
Yes.
So it's important to not give up on yourself. And find support, have people that believe in you, like you
Right.
guys believe in me, the board believes in me, you guys
Right.
know me. Like I said, ain't nothing changed but my limp.
Right.
I went to Panama, I did an excursion, we was in canoes climbing up the side of the mountain and everything. Jeff was with me.
Right.
And he was just standing right there and I was pulling going.
Right.
You know, I want to do it all.
I love it.
If I could drop off a plane, I would. I don't know about that. But I would love to. I always wanted to. But I don't know. Not with these screws and rods.
Let's get on the plane. I'll push you off because I'm not joking. I was in the army. You know, I was in the army. So I used to rappel out of helicopters. It wasn't fun. They made me do it. And I hated it.
Really?
So you created a mini play called "Life Is Poetic" that raises awareness of MS. What message did you want audiences to take away after seeing it?
It's about overcoming adversity, and the person that you like. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So if you see, I can do everything that anybody else can do. Listen, I'll still get on stage and sing in front of people, and I always say I can shake a leg, but I'm not going to limit myself.
Right.
And so with the Life is Poetic. And it's different scenes, and we're going to do it again as Angels Hearts of Hope. We're going to do it for some MS people and then for the community as well. But it brings to life the poetry in Angel's Heart, Guided by Light, which is the book that I wrote. And for every monologue or scene in the play, one of my poems is the response. And so we just bring it to life. It's very powerful. So when people come to see it, they're moved by it. I'm telling you, it's amazing, and that's just something. That was a vision too. So God gives me vision, and I'm grateful for that because I'm able to. You know, you can't do anything in this life by yourself. So I know people, strong people, positive people like yourself that I know I can go to and say, "Hey, I have this idea," and together we're able to bring it to life, to bring it to fruition. So that's an amazing thing.
I love it. In 2020. During the pandemic, you had the grandiose idea to create a nonprofit, Angels Hearts for Hope Foundation. What inspired you to launch a nonprofit during such a difficult time in the world? And before you answer that, for complete transparency, I am one of the board members of Angel Hearts for Hope Foundation. So please make sure y'all are supporting. I remember when you called me and was like, I need you, cuz.
Yes.
I need you on this board right now.
Yes.
Then you call Kamal. Then you call Malik. Then you call Diane, Danielle, Bryce,
Lisa.
And you made it happen.
Yeah.
What inspired you? Well, I know we had a lot of time. It was you and DJ. What's the DJ name with the hat? To be the biggest DJ in the world right now was D Nice. You and D Nice just had a lot of time. Y'all had a lot of time and came up with 2 great ideas.
So, all right, D Nice, I need you to holler at your girl. All right, let's talk about it. But so everybody was home trying to figure out life. COVID, people were dying. Every time you turned around, somebody was dying.
Yes.
I said, I got to do this. I don't know, you know. Listen, I'm looking to live a long, healthy life. I'm believing God for that.
Right.
Long life. But there's some things that I need to do. And that was one of the things. And I was like, I'm home. There's nothing we were still doing radio. I was doing it from my kitchen.
Right.
We were figuring it out. We had to pivot. Everybody had to pivot. So I said, this is the time. I have the time. I'm going to do it. And I just started, cranking through all of this stuff. Bryce came home, got with Danielle. We put it together, went to the bank, did all of the things. Next, it was on and popping. And I got you guys, and I was like, and next, as soon as we got our 501c3, the next month we had an event. I was like, we're doing an event next month. And we've been going ever since. Yeah. And so we have to keep going. And there'll be people that'll be like, oh, what is that? What is that? So that's why we have to educate them and share. It's about raising awareness. And yes,
look in your camera right there.
Yes.
And tell the people about Angels Hearts for Hope Foundation and the work we do, our mission statement. Let them know.
Okay. So our mission is to empower people to realize their full potential if you have multiple sclerosis. And all all the things we've been talking about today, you have to believe in yourself. You still have value. You still can do something positive that can contribute to society. And we help people with resources. We've helped people to get ramps. We've helped people to get glasses. We've helped people to pay some of their medical bills. You know, I'm on Medicare. I don't have Medicaid. I don't get all of that. And so I have to pay out of pocket all the time. So we're helping people to help themselves. And that is it in a nutshell. And raise awareness. Tell your people, support us. Visit angelsheartsforhope.org. Donate. We do events. We do sneaker balls. We're doing our third sneaker ball this year. We've done business pop-up shops. We've done online fundraisers where our first online fundraiser during COVID, we were just looking to raise $1,000. We raised like $2,600, and DJ Spitfire was on the wheels of steel.
Yes, DJ Spitfire, the one that ladies desire. Yeah, I was hitting tunes that day.
Online.
Yes.
And that was, we did it with Zoom.
Let's talk about the sneaker ball. Mm-hmm. We have a sneaker ball every year. This was our second year. The third one is October 17th, 2026.
Yes.
It'll be in Queens, New York, at Rochdale Village, which is one of the biggest complexes in Queens, in the Grand Ballroom.
Corey and Malik were like, let's do an event. We need some music. We need to do this. I said, sure, let's do it. So I rented the space, and we had it in a couple of rooms, and then actually we're moving to a bigger space now this year. It's not the ballroom, but it's a bigger space. And I called Dr. Bob Lee, a good friend of mine, for him to host. I have some friends, because, at the Proper, when we came back years later, I was doing poetry, had a live band, old school R&B. And then while they were breaking down, I would do my poetry just to test it out. That's how I knew I could write a book.
We have the hottest band at this sneaker ball.
Yes.
What's the name of that band?
The Soul Nation Band.
Oh, it's the hottest band. You could Google them. I'm pretty sure they got some stuff on Instagram. The hottest band, hands down.
Yeah.
Even if you just want to come to listen to the band and drop $200-$300, fine.
Yeah.
It'll be well worth it coming to see this band.
Absolutely. And we have a guest speaker. And this year's guest speaker is going to be...
surprise.
Yeah, definitely a surprise. But we have a powerful guest speaker this year. So we educate people about multiple sclerosis. We raise awareness. We raise money. Mm-hmm. It's important because that's how we're able to help people.
To button this up, she's being a little light on it. We actually do some really, really important and good things with Angels Hearts for Hope Foundation. Number one, we build ramps for people that's disabled, that only have steps, but they have MS and wheelchairs. Ramps. We give them medical supplies. We've paid bills for people. So we're really doing a lot. So instead of playing the lottery, if you want to do something that's impactful, because every dollar donated to Angels Heart for Hope Foundation is actually going towards somebody that has MS. And if you have any new or lightly used equipment that we can give out to somebody, like a wheelchair, like walkers or crutches, we're doing that a lot at Angels Hearts for Hope Foundation. And I just wanted to make sure we put that out. And shout out to the rest of the board members, Kamal, Malik, Bryce, Lisa, Danielle, Diane, and
Cleo,
our newest board member, Cleo.
Yes.
For supporting. What impact are you most proud of? And this will be the last question for Angels Heart.
With the organization?
Yes, the organization.
I think there's a group of people called MS Finest.
Shout out to MS Finest.
And they are a group of people that I have a friend, Larry Irving, who many years ago was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. We grew up together, and we went to high school together. We're from the same neighborhood. And I remember seeing him dealing with this, and I was starting to have these issues. So I would always call him, and I call him my coach. So ever since speaking to him and being diagnosed and all that, I became a part of this support group. And so in this support group, people come from the Bronx, Brooklyn, everywhere, and they support one another. So they speak, they share stories, they encourage one another, and they celebrate one another.
Mm-hmm.
So they are people that we support on a regular basis. They meet every first Wednesday of the month, and so whenever we can, we may have a masseuse, massage therapists go there and give them upper body massages. Maybe somebody come and teach them how to do some exercises, upper body exercises. Maybe we provide lunch, so we do stuff like that. So I think seeing they come and support us at the Sneaker Ball, and some of them come from as far as Westchester County.
Yes.
And so seeing them out there on the dance floor in their wheelchairs or with their canes or whatever, they're enjoying themselves. They're celebrating, and they are looking forward to this year. And this year, MS Finest is celebrating 10 years. So they'll be celebrating their 10-year anniversary right with us.
I'm glad you said that. So for the viewers, the people that's watching and the listeners, this isn't your average Sneaker Ball. So don't think you're just gonna throw a tux on and everybody's gonna have gowns and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna be cute. Everybody's gonna be fine. But remember, the ultimate goal is trying to help these people with MS. And I'll be remiss if I don't announce that. Yes, you'll see people with wheelchairs. You'll see some people with walkers. You'll see some people with canes. But that's what it's all about. It's a very good night. Shout out to Lance Furtado for the donation he gave us last year from the Furtado brothers and a whole bunch of other people. So make sure y'all come and support. That's October 17th, Queens, New York. And
nice
you
and
can
early.
reach us. It's our last question about this. So just tell them how they could just reach us at the website, right?
Right. They can reach us at angels with an S, hearts with an S for hope.org. And they can also email us at angelsheart, no S, MS for multiple sclerosis at Gmail. Look us up on Facebook. Look us up on Instagram. You'll find us. Reach out to one of the board members. You'll find us. And if you have a need, somebody that has a need, feel free to share our information. Tell them to reach out to us. And we recently became a trusted resource for the National MS Society.
That's right.
And they're
Trusted
huge.
resource. Last question. You're currently pursuing your master's in disability studies at CUNY. That's freaking dope, Lisa.
Thank you.
She's all the way invested in this MS.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And is about to graduate.
Yes.
She's about to graduate in a couple of months. When people look back at Lisa Ray years from now, what legacy do you want your work to leave behind?
I don't know. When I speak to people, I mean, honestly, the legacy is my son, right? And like I said, I pray I live a long life, but I want this to go on and on and on because our community, our people,
Yes.
need the services, and we may not get it off the top at some of these bigger organizations. We might not. So that's why I knew that there was a need for this.
Right.
We have to be there for one another. We have to hold each other up. That's community, right? And that's what's important. And just so you know, yes, I'll be graduating
Yes.
May 28th at the Barclays.
Nice.
And I am a 4.0 student.
That's
say
great. That's great. So she
I done caught
matched
up.
me. I like
I done
it.
caught up, yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Before we wrap, is there anything that you want to say that we did not cover today?
No, I think we covered everything. And it's just important that when you see people creating something for a cause, it's not until we're afflicted or someone in our family is afflicted that we do something about it. Don't be afraid to have, hard conversations. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes. Well, Lisa, this conversation really means a lot to me personally. We grew up together. I watch your journey you've taken from Wall Street, Advocacy. using your voice to raise awareness about multiple sclerosis is very inspiring. And during Women's History Month and MS Awareness Month, conversations like this matter because they need to help break the silence and remind people that strength often grows from the challenges that we face. It's truly been an honor and a privilege to have you. Pull up a seat on Corey's Corner, because I love you.
I love you more. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, for our listeners, if you found value in today's story, please follow, like, and share. It's been another episode of Corey's Corner. Until next time, keep grinding, keep pushing, and always remember, it's not about where you start, it's always about where you finish. I'm Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Peace.
Special thanks to our executive producer, our engineers, and much respect to Corrupt Mob for making Corey's Corner possible.
Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, what up? Talking truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop, I used to hunt the block.